Hi everybody, my name's Michelle and I'm Mama Loves You GB here on FlossTube, but also over on Instagram and Etsy as well. Welcome to the Sunday morning briefing. It is the 5th of November, Gunpowder, Treason and Plot, and it is episode number 135. Now, we've probably been once around the sun since I last had both of those pieces of information for you. Now, my camera for some reason keeps shifting focus today, and I'm not quite sure why. I don't think I've done anything different to it. And I have just been talking to it for the last 5 minutes without it recording, but it's definitely recording now. So apologies if the focus keeps shifting. I think it is my camera, not my eyesight. Although you'll see that I haven't got my glasses on and I haven't had them for the last couple of weeks because I left them at school on my desk. It's a good job I don't really need them. I don't really need them for anything really. Although I do wear them for driving. It's not like I wouldn't see. And all the times I've been driving, it's been sunny, so I have my sunglasses on. So I've had my prescription sunglasses on. So don't worry. Anyway, I digress already. It's going to be one of those. I've got so much to show you. I've been left unattended in places where I can shop, stitch, and just generally go a bit mad this week. So I'm going to start off. We went to Legoland last Sunday, and I accidentally ended up on a roller coaster. Now, for those of you who know Legoland, you'll probably be thinking, well, there's not many big roller coasters there, Michelle. How did you end up on a roller coaster? Well, it was Ness's first time at kind of like a theme park, and Chris had said, "Oh, let's go on this ride. It's the Dragon's Apprentice. It's the little baby one." And this little cart appeared, shaped into a dragon, and we got onto it, and yeah, it sort of went through this little castle with all these lovely scenes of Lego. And I thought, oh, this is all right. And then the doors opened and it sped up. And oh my God, Chris said all he saw was me in the little cart behind pull my hood right down and just put my hands on my face and probably said some rather expletive words when there were some small children around. I hate roller coasters. I hate them. In fact, I don't really like anything that makes my body move independently. I don't like slides. Ness wanted me to go on this helicopter thing, which only went about 15 foot up in the air, but I hated that. So, but they have got a fabulous submarine ride at Legoland, which is really worth going to. I went on that twice and I would have kept on there if they hadn't sort of ushered me off. Anyway, so I have got lots and lots, as I said, to share with you. I'm going to start off as we've been doing. I'll tell you about the rest of the week because the rest of the week's got a bit more of a stitchy bent to it rather than just Legoland. We're going to start the week off with The Last Owl. So this is going to be the last one for a little while. Although there are some Christmas owls, this is going to be the last one for a little while. So I said to you that this one is going to be Liz. And here she is. So this is Liz, named after Liz Truss. Now Liz Truss has the dubious honour of having the shortest stay as Prime Minister of the UK in history, 44 days. So I said to you last week that this owl is only going to be available for 44 days. So I've even gone as far as counting. It will be in my shop today, the 5th of November. 44 days means that the last day in the shop will be the 18th of December. And then after that, this one is gone. The others will stay, but Liz will be gone. Now, unfortunately, the real Liz Truss hasn't gone. She is still lurking about in the government somewhere. But, oh, this is Liz. And I actually think she might be one of my favourites. I really like her slightly spooky, vacant-looking eyes, which is about right for those of you that are familiar with Liz Truss. Okie dokie, so that's the last one. And as I said, it'll be in my shop until the 18th of December. Now, I can see what you lovely lot are up to on my Etsy. I can see lots of you have favourited these owls. So what I've done is, as of today in my Etsy shop, there is a 10% discount for 2 or more chart purchases. Now, it can be anything in my Etsy shop. It doesn't have to just be owls, but if you buy 2, you get 10% off. So let's see if I can get all of them together for one last time. So there's all of the kind of autumnal Halloweeny owls. They're not necessarily all Halloweeny, but the kind of autumnal ones. The Christmas ones will be coming soon. I think there's 4, maybe 3 or 4. We shall see. I was going to wait until December to release them, but I might release one right at the end of November, so you can stitch it up in time for Christmas. So there is the Parliament of Owls. While we're on the subject of my Etsy shop, let's just put those there. It is also Black Sampler November. I am stitching my own Black Sampler, which is Charlotte Jekyll, which is a reproduction that I'm doing. But I have 2 available in my Etsy shop. Should you not have made a choice yet or think that you can fit in an extra one. The first one, and I always get a little bit nostalgic around Black Sampler November because this was my first chart that I ever did. Thanks to Jacob from Modern Folk Embroidery. He asked me if I had a chart and I said, well, not a reproduction, but I've got one up here somewhere. Let me see if I can get it out. And this was my first one, Nessie Mitchell. Now, if you've not been with my my channel for a long time, you'll not know. Nessie Mitchell, 1929, Kilmore's, is actually, she would have been my mother's sister. Now, my mother was born in 1950. So Granny was having children for quite a long time. This was a baby girl of hers that didn't survive. I think we worked out that she survived a matter of a few days, maybe a week or 2, before she sadly passed away. So fully customizable. If you would like, you can obviously take her name off and put whosever name you so desire. So there's that one. And there is also Mary Ann Kettle. Now this is a reproduction sampler. It wasn't originally black, but my reproduction was. And this is called Be Not a Dunce, because Mary had some very, very appropriate advice for us all. Remember thy creator in thy youth, strive to learn, and be not a dunce. The number of times I wanted to take this and hang it up in my classroom with the original. So, Be Not a Dunce, Mary Ann Kettle, aged 8 years, 1838. So both a couple of really nice stitches, not too long. They're both stitched on 36 count using, what am I doing with my hands? With black sulky thread, but you could do whatever you want. Stacey, the 911 stitcher, is currently stitching this on 56 count, and oh my god, it is absolutely darling, absolutely darling. Okie dokie. I'm going to insult the notes because I will forget some stuff. Let's show you some stitching. What have I been stitching? I finished my Patchwork Rabbit Halloween box. So I had ironed it and then I decided to try and see if I could do something else with it, and I changed my mind. So this is my finish on 40 count. Now, had I read the instructions properly, it would have told me what the fabric was. Old Gold by Fibre on a Whim. So this is Rebel Stitcher's design that was in the box and exclusive to the box. There is my finish of it. We had all of the threads. So I hadn't got all of the threads out when I showed you it last week, because obviously Halloween was in the week, so there was still a couple more threads to go. And we also had, whoops, fingers stuck, this little sort of tag. And we had some finishing material by Dames of the Needle, Smashing Jack chenille to go around the outside. So I shall look forward to making that up. We'd also had a corner gauge and this really cool pin as well, this little pumpkin pin. So that was the contents of the box. It was really, really fabulous fun. Look how many threads I've got left over to add to my collection. So fabulous. And a lovely little pumpkin lady to finish up. If you like that sort of idea, Patchwork Rabbit are doing a Boxing Day box, which you can find on their website, which is just going to be a box full of goodies. You know, they often do an advent box. They've decided not to do an advent box this year. They're just doing this really lovely Boxing Day box. So I'm really looking forward to getting mine. I did just launch that because it had to clear some of my other stitching. So that was some of my stitching that I did this week. I did a little bit of work on my Modern Folk embroidery stitch along. No, it's not a stitch along. It is not a stitch along. It is from Stitch in London, the 10 Merry Sailors and Their Loyal Dog. Now mine is on 36 count Zweigart, which came as part of our kit, using Roxy Foss in the colour the Great Lakes. And let's just fold that. I went to all the trouble to iron it and then I folded it. Now what you can't see very well on here, but you can see better close up, is I decided to use the titanium to make some little ghost sailors. So mine is a ghost ship. So my 10 sailors and their dog will be ghosts because they're nice and pale. And then I've started doing some of the letters which are ghostly letters, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the letters of the stitches that were at my table in the ghostly thread as well. And then I'm going to make this into a nice little pouch or something like that to take with me next year. Because Stitch in London will be on again next year in October. In fact, there are going to be 2 weekends, Marie told us. So we'll have a choice of 2 weekends. And oh, I've got to tell you, Marie and I had a planning meeting this morning, so Saturday morning, for Stitch in London Sampler Edition. Oh, the things that we've got planned are amazing. And I know that there are a few spots left, just a few. So if you go onto Stitches and Diamonds website, you'll be able to book your slot on that sampler edition. It's about samplers, the weekend's about samplers, but it's about stitching. And there'll be something there for everybody. If you're new to samplers, there'll be some great teaching going on. If you're more into samplers, you'll be able to find out some fantastic information, find out how to research samplers, perhaps even find out how to chart them if you want to, but just be in the company of people who, at whatever point on their journey of samplers, appreciate samplers and the journeys of the girls. So that's what it's all about. And then I had a surprise start. It was a surprise to me, because it just popped up in my thread and I just loved it. And it was Tiny Modernist Yule Goddess. And I just loved her. Not a sampler. I do stitch all sorts of different things. But I just loved her. And I don't know if you remember, the previous week I had shown you that I had this beautiful pampas by Picture This Plus, which I'd never seen before, but I got it on a D-stash. So I have started ghosting out a little bit, probably about there, to stitch that up, and the red is going to look amazing on here. Now I love this colour, but I do have a little bit of a problem with 32 count Picture This Plus, in the fact that I think it's sometimes too tight for 2 threads and too sparse for 1 thread. So what I've already done is a sulky conversion. So this is going to be stitched with 1 strand of sulky on 32 count Picture This Plus, which is a bit tighter of a weave. And I've already got the sort of tree across the top and started on her antlers, but I just think the red is going to look smashing on that fabric. Love, love, love. Like I said, it was a total new start. I just had no idea that it was going to happen. I saw it, bought it, printed it, started it. Probably about as quickly as that. So there we go. I'm going to add that to the pile. What else? What else have I got? What have I been up to? I went to Patchwork Rabbit. I went to see Catherine at the Patchwork Rabbit because I wanted to match some threads. Now, primary amongst them, I'm going to have to be a little bit more careful with her because I did take the back off while I was at the Patchwork Rabbit and found that she's actually glued to the back and the back's in 2 halves, so that's fun. So I went to get some threads for the fabulous Dorothy Day, which I just love. She's just so pretty. Let's put her down carefully. So I went to grab the threads for Dorothy Day, and 2 seconds. There we go. And Catherine was very good. She actually put them in a little pouch for me and put them up. So excuse the crinkling. Let me just show you them together. A mixture of classic Colourworks and Gentle Arts sampler threads. So there's those there. And then the best red was a DMC. Good old DMC. There's not that much variation in the actual threads in the stitch, so that just looks amazing. And I'm a sucker, I'm a real sucker for those sort of colour combinations. Pink, blue and red. I'm just a real sucker for those. So I can't wait to stitch her. I can't wait to stitch her. Let me put those back. Now the other thing that I took with me while I was away, I took it for 2 reasons. 1, because I wanted to match some threads at the Patchwork Rabbit, and 2, because the following day I knew I was going to go to Witney Antiques. I'll come back to that. So I will show you what Catherine wrote on the label. Knickers. Because what I had taken to match was this. Now, I've shown you this a very long time ago when I first bought it. And you know what? I still don't know what it is. I still don't know what it is. Nobody knows what it is. I'll tell you more about Witney Antiques in a little while, but I took it to Becky. I'd sent her an email with it on first when I got it, and she didn't know then. She still doesn't know now. And I've asked Dawn Ronigan, Susan Standley, Bethany Clements, lots and lots of people I've asked, and nobody really knows what it is. So let me just show you. It is on a single piece of fabric, which is somewhat failing. And it was obviously meant to be sewn together like this. There's no evidence of any other fabric. It was probably meant to be open at the top because you've got 2 salvage edges there, but it was never gathered or anything like that. And people keep telling me it's a pocket, and I don't think it's a pocket, and Becky doesn't think it's a pocket, because what would you put in it that's that shape? What would you put in it? That's the thing with it. It doesn't make sense shape-wise for it to be a pocket. But let me tell you what it says. It says, there are 9 parts of speech, 20,600 nouns, 40 pronouns, 8,000 verbs, 2,600 adverbs, 9,200 adjectives, 69 prepositions, 68 interjections, 19 conjectures, 2 articles. And it says E. Watson there. And on the other side, which is kind of brown, it says, remember, dearest Elizabeth, that the finest talents would be lost to obscurity if they were not cultivated. So it almost to me reads as like a mistress giving it to her sort of ward, a teacher giving it to her pupil. So it has seen better days, but it still intrigues me. It still intrigues me, and I do want to reproduce it. But I think I might change the shape of it a little bit, because all the wording here is over 1, whereas all this bit at the top here is over 2. Now I'm not sure how many people are going to want to stitch all that over 1, so I might do an adaptation of this. So other ideas that I've had is that it's like a stomacher, but again, that didn't seem to fit with Becky either. It's such fine fabric, whereas stomachers were usually a little bit thicker. They were meant to be worn. So anybody with any suggestions, I am glad to hear them. So I got the threads for those. I'm not bother opening them. It's a brown and a green. And I also picked up 2 charts, which is Anjou pairs, which go with the red pairs that I've got there and the blue pairs that I've got to stitch. And I picked this one up. Hush Little Baby, Don't Say a Word, Mama's Gonna Buy You a Mockingbird by La-Di-Da. I'm not sure when that one came out actually. 2006, I thought it was a reasonably old one. But I love that. So that was my visit to the Patchwork Rabbit. Loved it, loved it. Spent a couple of hours with Catherine, took my mum. There's a very nice Tesco's just on the way. You know, some Tesco's are all right and some are really nice. This is a really nice Tesco's. What else have I been doing? Witney Antiques. Let's talk about Witney Antiques. Now, if you've never been to Witney Antiques, you must go. If you don't follow Witney Antiques on Instagram, you must go and follow them. It is the most exquisite needlework that you will see. This is the very highest end needlework, and the pieces are just to die for. And Becky is a world-class expert on it. World-class expert. So what I went to see was their newest exhibition, which is called Choice and Precious Work. So it's all about this casket that Becky owns, and all of the work that was inside the casket, including 3 stitched nutmegs. Now, if you want to know why stitched nutmegs are really important, if you go and listen to Isabella Rosner, she has a podcast called So What, and the first one of this series is with Becky, and they tell you about the stitched nutmeg, and they appear in one of the earlier episodes as well, and how important these nutmegs were, because they at the time weighed heavier than gold. They were worth more than their weight in gold. So all of this is just in the exhibition for you to see. Now, I cannot begin to think about the amount of work and research that has gone into this book. Becky constantly makes reference to other needlework that's similar, and puts it in context with what was going on with needlework at the time. So some of it's about pieces, some of it is about samplers. So that is absolutely amazing. It was worth it. If you go on to Witney Antiques Instagram, you can see the 2-part live that Isabella Rosner did when she went to present the collection, because the collection was put together by Becky and by Isabella. So they both did the research and they co-authored this book. So you can go and see, and you can see, like, I mean, just amazing. You can see all this work. And the other thing that's there is lots and lots and lots of band samplers. Lots of band samplers, which is kind of a previous exhibition. And lots of them are still there. They are still for sale. But this is the book about those. And they have these books there, and you can literally wander around the collection with the book in your hand, and you can find out all of the stories behind all these amazing band samplers. Now, I've never stitched a band sampler, and I really want to stitch a band sampler. So if you're interested in band samplers or any samplers, then we've got that there. Now, my mum came with me to this as well. She actually wanted to go to Marks and Spencer's in Whitney, but she came with me to this. And so we had a little game of, right, come on, if we could run fast enough, what are we going to pinch? What are we going to pinch? I mean, Mum decided that there was a wooden cabinet that she really, really liked, but we didn't think we'd get away fast enough with a wooden cabinet under our arm. So we played silly games like that. You know, if you could have one, which would you have? Obviously, we wouldn't try and pinch one. But this is the tip of the iceberg. You've never seen so many fabulous, fabulous samplers. It was just amazing. And other types of needlework there as well. And some beautiful furniture. Just need to win the lottery now. There was that. That was amazing. Right. This time of year, I always start thinking about next year. And I don't know what it is, but after Halloween, like a little switch flicks. And I really start thinking about the following year. And what is it I want to do next year? And I've got a couple of SALs in mind. One has only just come into my mind because I've only just seen it, but I will be doing the Fabulous Houses SAL by Cottage Garden Samplings. I always get them mixed up with the threads. Cottage Garden Samplings. I'll put a picture of it up here. I am going to do that. It is on Fox and Rabbit Prehistoric. I'm going to do it as one piece, and I need to sit down with a pen and paper and some numbers and work out what size fabric I need and things like that. But I just saw it and it looks amazing. And there's all types of houses. There's like Santa's house, there's a lighthouse, there's a wood cabin, and you know it's just going to be amazing. The snowmen I could appreciate, but they weren't my bag. I've still got a year in the woods to finish. I've no business starting another big sampler, but that is not the point. That is not the point. Now, my other stitch along that I mentioned. I want to stitch some of Melissa from Pinker and Punkin Blogspot's houses and salt boxes. She does all these fabulous, fabulous salt boxes and lists them on her Blogspot for free for stitchers. And I've shown you lots of them in the freebies over the past 3 years, but I really, really want to stitch some now. And I know I forgot to do a freebie last week, but trust me, there's some freebies here. So what I've done to help you and me is I've put together a document where I've gone through her blog and I have found, I think, a picture of each of the different houses. Now, from memory, there are 31. Okay, and I've sort of reorganised them into sort of seasons. And then, can you see? Oh, this camera's doing something really weird today. This, where the title is, if you click on that link on the document, it will take you to her blog, to the right space for you to get the chart for that. Now, I'm going to read you this bit that it says here. So it says, I put this document together to help you plan your hashtag PNP 6 Houses 2024 SAL. They are loosely arranged into seasons. The aim of the SAL is to stitch 6 of Melissa's fabulous houses in 2024. In the following pages, you will find pictures of as many of the houses as I could find on Melissa's Blogspot. If you click on the title of the house, it will take you directly to the chart. All photographs and stitch pieces in this document belong to Melissa, and I want to thank her for her generosity towards the stitching community. We all appreciate her creativity, inspiration and skill. Please do take time to take a look around Melissa's Blogspot. There's so much more to be seen, other freebies to be stitched, and a wealth of sewing and stitching experience to benefit from. I'm going to be choosing my 6 and posting them on Instagram before the end of November using the hashtag above. I can't wait to see what you choose. So, I will put a link to this document down in the drop down box below. Please take it as I'm not trying to copy any of Melissa's work. All I'm trying to do, and I did it partly for my own benefit, is to have all pictures of the houses to begin with so that I can choose the 6 that I want to start with. So that is what that is about. There's no charts. You have to go to Melissa's Blogspot to get the charts. So it's no different from me putting a link down below. It's just you go via a document with them all in and then you go to the link below. So that is 2 stitch alongs that I am going to be doing next year. I've got another stitch along to do before the end of this year, however, because I have decided that I cannot miss out on another Lola Crow SAL. So this is the Creepy Carolers from the Creepy Christmas Village SAL. So I signed up for this one. I have bought since the greenhouse one, but I wish I'd done it as I went along. I wish I'd been part of that SAL. And literally every one she's done, I wished I'd done it at the time. So I didn't want to miss out on this one. And I'm going to do it on the Fox and Rabbit. I think I'm going to do it on this one, which was the fabric of the month, which is called Arctic Fox. So it is a grey. Now, I just want to apologise to anyone who had ordered the fabric for this. It was in my parcel to distribute, but the fabric had come before I managed to get it put. Start again. The fabric had come before I managed to get it posted away before we went away for half term. So it is on its way to you now. If not, you've probably already got it. It was all first class, so I'm sure you've got it. So I'm going to make a start on that one. Now, really, we've just got quite a few purchases. Quite a few purchases. I'm taking this as my last gasp before Christmas, folks. Now, I did place an order with Swadide Simone, and at the Great British Sampler weekend she had shown us some of the weekly stitch alongs that they had done for free via their shop and website, but they'd now been collated into a book. So this is the first one. Please don't ask me to pronounce it, but this is the stitch along that would have been the 2016 one, and that is what you get. So lots and lots of alphabets and a sort of motifs bit at the bottom. Now this booklet is all in Dutch, but I'm sure you can take a picture and Google will translate it for you. But the pictures of the samplers that the alphabets are taken from, you just don't need to be able to read. You can see them. They're beautiful. This was the one that I really wanted, but samplers can't travel alone. Now this one does have English wording in it as well. So this is where they did little boxes using motifs taken from samplers to fill the box. And she showed it around at the Great British Sampler weekend and it was amazing. So you get, I'll try and show you that a bit. And you just build up this kind of patchwork of these boxes. Now there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 boxes by 8 by 6. I think there's 40. No. 8 by 6 is not 40. There we go. There we go. 6 8 to 48. Michelle. I had to have about an hour and a half of maths questions on the way back from Windsor. I am quite frankly mathed out. Although I did get them right. Although Les would be disappointed with that. The other one I bought was Simone's Smalls, which I've been hankering after for a little while. Now, folks, these were fabulous. Fabulous prices in euros, and the postage was no worse than just like normal UK postage, I didn't think. So, and I also bought a little bit of banding as well. So there was that. I have then got another pile of stuff over there, so I'm just going to move it closer. 2 seconds. Now, Etsy sales. There's a lot of people having Etsy sales, so I got quite a few bits and bobs to add to stash. So, got that one. 'Tis the season to be spooky. I was on a bit of a wordy kick. Joy, which I really liked. The witching hour is near. Because I've got some fabulous fabrics that I don't always know what to do with. So it says www.luba.davis Atelier on Etsy. And I also got All Hallows Eve. These were like 70% off, so literally about £2 each. Not even that, probably. Something Wicked This Way Comes. And I think that's the last one. And I also bought this one. Now, this one accidentally was shown on... Well, no, it wasn't accidentally shown. It was mislabelled on the Homespun Needlework group. And everyone just went crazy for it. And it's this one. It was stitched on a beautiful piece of fabric and it just looked amazing. I think Julie accidentally labelled it as the next special edition. You know, they do special editions on there, and it wasn't. It was the one that was just to go across the top of the header, but everyone went bonkers for it. And I don't think the Etsy shop lady knew what had hit her. It's from Cool Gothic Stitch. I don't think she knew what had hit her, because all of a sudden this design sold out, and I think she had about 300 stitchers just messaging her going, can you put some more on, can you put some more on please, because it just looked so fabulous. I also bought a couple of the books. I bought Becky's book, which I'd already ordered before I went to Witney Antiques. I'm not stalking you, Becky, honestly. But this is just, again, just to have this level of knowledge and understanding of samplers would just be amazing. So I'd already got that one. And then I picked up this one by Dorothy Bromley Phelan. Now, she is the lady that wrote the Good Heart Samplers book, which is ridiculously expensive. So yeah, it's ridiculously expensive, that one. But this one is just a good history of samplers. So got some nighttime reading in. Can you tell the nights are drawing in? I always want to buy books this time of year. I also bought Dr. Richard Shepherd's book of Unnatural Causes. He's a Home Office pathologist, so there is the two parts of my personality right there. Right, now, before I get on to, whoops, just the last little bit of haul, I'm going to show you a gift. Ellen sent me Eddie and Patsy. Look at that. Ellen, your hair looked fabulous in the last video. Fabulous. I was going to straighten mine in tribute as well, but I just didn't have the time. And if I take it out of the bun that it's in, it looks... I'd have to film this in panorama, even though I've had it cut a little bit. There we go. So she sent me that. She's come out with loads and loads more designs. I think she's just added 3 new ones. So go and check her out. Right, last little bit. Now, again, before I show, I've gone blurry. Is that my eyesight? Come back. I think we're back. It went blurry for a minute there. Now, before I show you just this last little bit, I just want to mention a couple of FlossTubers. Flossie Sews and Grows and Sew Me Sarah. I watched both their videos this week and they were talking all about their plans for next year. They are both 50 next year, although they don't look it, and they are both doing 50 new starts. So if you're interested in hearing them talk about their plans and how they're going to achieve this, then go and watch them. They're both an absolute riot. So go and watch them. Give them some love. Right. Advent. I will be doing Flossmas this year. So one of the things that arrived And it didn't arrive in a much better state than this, I have to say. Royal Mail were not kind to this parcel, but it doesn't matter because what is contained inside is all of my envelopes for the Roxy, Flossco and Evertote advent calendar. Now, I feel I should give you a better impression of it than the box that Royal Mail decided to kick around. Luckily, I knew that there wouldn't be anything that was going to be damageable in it. So there's all my different envelopes. Some of them are upside down. Yeah, all my different envelopes. I can't wait to share those with you. There's the fabric as well. And then, as I normally do, I picked up the Marks and Spencer's advent calendar, the beauty one as well. So we'll have some fun with that one. And I also picked up the house tin for this year, which is up there now. And I picked up this box. Now, I just absolutely love this box. But wait. And it's got chocolates in it, and look, I haven't eaten any of them yet, but I will do. Nobody does Christmas like Marks and Spencer's. I'm sorry, nobody does Christmas like Marks and Spencer's. I might put a little picture at the end of the Christmas house for this year because it's up there with my other Christmas houses. Anyway, I shall hope this is going to upload properly so that you can see it in the morning tomorrow should you wish, and I'll see you next week. Stay classy, Stitchers.